Christopher Briney, the quiet star taking over Hollywood. How Christopher Briney won Hollywood without saying a word. He didn't chase fame. Fame found him. Christopher Briney, a name millions know today, though only a few truly understand. He's calm where others rush, thoughtful where Hollywood demands noise. And maybe that's why his rise feels so rare, almost quiet. When he steps onto a set, there's no chaos, no ego, only that look in his eyes, the one that says he's still amazed to be here. It's the same look he had years ago, sketching film ideas in a tiny notebook somewhere far from the cameras, trying to imagine what making it might feel like. Back then, he wasn't chasing red carpets or magazine covers. He was chasing truth, the kind of honesty that can only exist in a single scene done right, in a line spoken from the heart. And yet, somehow, that truth is what pulled the world toward him. Because in an industry obsessed with noise, Christopher Briney reminds us of something powerful. That silence can still command a spotlight. The quiet star taking over Hollywood. Before we go deeper into how this quiet kid became one of Hollywood's most talked about names, tell me, what was the first scene that made you notice Christopher Briney? Comment below. Every actor dreams of that one audition. The moment that takes them from anonymous rooms to lights, scripts, and names on call sheets. For Christopher Briney, that moment came quietly. Like most things in his story. A reading, a callback, a director's nod, and then, suddenly, he was Conrad Fisher in The Summer I Turned Pretty. No fireworks. No viral headline. Just a young man stepping into a role that would change the rhythm of his life. Because when the show premiered, something unexpected happened. Viewers didn't just see Conrad Fisher, they felt him, every hesitation, every quiet storm behind his eyes. And that was Christopher's gift. He didn't act big, he acted real. The camera loved what it couldn't fully understand about him. The restraint, the soft voice, the way he seemed to carry thoughts he never said aloud. In a world of instant fame, he became the opposite. A slow burn, a whisper turning into applause. Hollywood took notice. Scripts arrived, interviews followed, and the quiet boy from Connecticut found himself in rooms where every face meant opportunity. Yet even as the noise around him grew louder, Christopher stayed exactly where he'd always been. Somewhere between gratitude and disbelief. Because deep down, he still felt like that same kid. The one who once believed success belonged to someone else. But destiny, it seems, had other plans. When did you first notice him, Conrad's silence or Christopher's truth? Tell me below. Fame doesn't always arrive with celebration. Sometimes, it arrives with confusion. One day you're walking into a studio where no one knows your name. The next, you can't walk down a street without hearing it whispered. Christopher Briney never sought attention. But it came, wrapped in bright lights and headlines. In photos he never posed for. In opinions from people he'd never met. And behind every smile, there's that small question every young actor faces. Who am I becoming, now that everyone is watching? Interviews called him Hollywood's next heartthrob. Social media called him the quiet one. But behind those labels was just a young man trying to keep both feet on the ground. He'd once said in an interview, almost shyly, "I'm just learning how to enjoy this, without losing myself." It wasn't a soundbite. It was a confession. Because Hollywood doesn't pause for reflection, it races forward. And if you're not careful, it can blur the line between the person you play and the person you are. Christopher knew that. So he built distance. He stayed offline, kept his circle small. And chose moments of quiet where others chased the noise. It wasn't rebellion. It was protection. A quiet act of survival in a city that celebrates loudness. And maybe, that's why his silence spoke so loudly. Do you think silence still has power in a world built on noise? Let me know in the comments. What makes a great actor isn't fame. It's patience. It's what you do when no one is watching. And for Christopher Briney, that's where his brilliance lives. In the pauses, in the stillness. In the small moments most actors rush past. His directors talk about it quietly. The way he listens before speaking. The way he builds entire emotions in silence. As if he's painting with restraint instead of color. On set, he's not the loudest voice. He's the calm in the middle of the noise. Every gesture is intentional. Every glance, earned. He doesn't perform feelings. He finds them. And that's rare. Because Hollywood often rewards what's loudest, fastest, easiest to consume. But Christopher is building something slower, deeper. The kind of legacy that sneaks up on you. One role, one truth at a time. You can see it in his choices. Even after the success of The Summer I Turned Pretty. He didn't chase every script that came his way. He waited. He read. He asked questions like, what's this story really saying? Who does it help me become? That's not arrogance. That's intention. It's the quiet discipline that separates actors from artists. And in a world obsessed with the next big thing, Christopher Briney might just become something rarer. A timeless one. Would you rather be famous fast or respected slowly? Tell me your thoughts below. Offset, Christopher Briney lives nothing like the roles he plays. There are no paparazzi chases, no velvet ropes, just quiet corners of coffee shops, old books, and the kind of friends who still treat him like the kid they met before any of this began. He spends time writing. Reading. Walking. Sometimes, painting scenes no one else will see. Because for him, creativity isn't a performance. It's a way to breathe when the spotlight feels too bright. People expect stories of chaos from young stars. They want the scandal, the burnout, the crash. But with Christopher, there's only the steady rhythm of someone building a life slowly. He doesn't post much. He doesn't need to. In a culture addicted to noise, his silence has become its own kind of signature. Maybe that's why fans connect with him so deeply. Because beneath the headlines, he reminds them that it's still possible to dream quietly. That you don't have to scream to be heard. And as Hollywood keeps spinning faster, Christopher Briney moves at his own pace. Grateful, grounded, and still slightly amazed that the world chose to listen to someone who never demanded attention in the first place. Because sometimes, the softest voices leave the loudest echoes. Legacy isn't something you plan. It's something you leave behind, one honest choice at a time. Christopher Briney isn't chasing a legend. He's building one quietly. Not through scandals or headlines. But through consistency, kindness, and craft. He's part of a new wave of actors reminding Hollywood that authenticity isn't outdated. It's revolutionary. Every decade brings a few names that redefine what success looks like. People who make us stop and realize that vulnerability can be power. And that sensitivity doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Christopher is one of them. A reminder that stillness can still command a scene. And humility can still open doors that arrogance could never touch. He's not just acting. He's restoring balance in a business that sometimes forgets why stories matter in the first place. Because when an audience sees themselves in a character like Conrad Fisher, or in the quiet eyes of a young man trying to understand love, loss, and fame, they're reminded that they're not alone. And maybe that's Christopher's true gift. Not the roles. Not the red carpets. But the reminder that even in a city built on illusion, you can still choose to be real. He's proof that in a world of noise, the whisper can still win. If this story reminded you that quiet strength still matters, subscribe to Gavin Talks Hollywood. More stories soon, because every star has a story the spotlight never tells. Tell us in the comment where you are watching from.